Ladies and gentlemen, we are live with another wonderful episode. I don't even know what day it is. I'm going to check that. It is Wednesday, July 8th. Wednesday. You lose track of the week with this pandemic craziness. But as always, it is 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, and this is the fun time of my day when I get to talk about the things that I understand, the things that I appreciate, the things that are frankly building the foundation and the framework for good portion of the world, the system and the way it works. We know why the system exists. We know how it should work, and we sure as hell know that the status quo system is, lack of a better word, pretty pathetic. So we're looking forward to new stuff. Heck, we still got damn social security numbers, 9 digits. Yeah, genius. Talk about 160-bit hash being a little bit more meaningful than a 9-digit ridiculous number. Anyway, that is a quick early digression as always. Who's on the chat? Craig's in the house. Did you bite or just nibble? What's up, guys? Today's video is not sponsored by StakeNet, one of my favorite old school projects. Now, this entire topic of the DEX brings us back in the day. Clearly, there's folks that have been around before 2014, 2013. It was a small population, a very dedicated user base early on. But things started to pick up, obviously, the post the most previous epic, mind-blowing bull run late 2016, 2017, and that is when some of the most meaningful projects started taking shape. Now, obviously, there was a plethora of garbage, and for the past several years they've fallen off the map, which was expected, and that's going to happen again. And we're going to also actually get some more garbage with the governance frenzy that's ongoing. We're going to see DAOs popping up all over the place with absolutely no utility whatsoever. So, anyway, point being, back in 2017, some of the most interesting projects were taking shape. And three that I've stated before: you got BlockNet, you got StakeNet, and you got Komodo. Now, they each have unique features, characteristics, goals, objectives, teams, processes, workflow, and they have all matured so much over the last 3 years. Absolutely incredible the progress that they've made. Now, they have taken the back seat to this insane DeFi rally that's going on, but you have to remember DeFi right now is pretty much synonymous with the Ethereum blockchain. There's nothing on any of the platforms. There's nothing on Ethereum Classic, dare I say Tron, dare I say Binance Chain, Polkadot and Cosmos and Kusama. Sure, yeah, no doubt. That's going to be hot, but that's not going to be for much time. So I got my eye on Polkadot, Cosmos, and Kusama, the Polkadot testnet, so to speak. But the real momentum is in Ethereum, and that's why DeFi on Ethereum is doing what it's doing. Now, where's all the money in crypto? The money value, the equity is in UTXO land. Period. That's the old school money, so to speak. Absolutely incredible how much equity is available, especially as compared to what's on the Ethereum base. David says, what's up? James says, time to get my learn on. Always a pleasure. Bakir says, best project and best team. XRSN StakeNet. StakeNet is old school, as I said. All right, the three projects I hit on, they're all doing DEXs. Each one has unique characteristics. I've talked about BlockNet. Komodo is probably another dedicated video because they do their own thing with the ability to spin up side chains. But today we're talking about the StakeNet. So StakeNet, what do they have that's unique? They're all going for DEXs. And the odds are they're not going to be DApps like in DeFi land. They're probably going to be discrete applications. For instance, Komodo only has Android and iOS at this point. BlockNet's pulling out the Light multi-wallet, and obviously StakeNet is further ahead with their wallet, their Light multi-wallet and DEX interface. Block has their Block DX interface. So they're all in substantially advanced development mode. Definitely under the radar with regard to market appreciation. I think that's obvious, albeit StakeNet has been on fire lately. But all these UTXO projects are down 90%, 95% or more from their 2017 highs. So there's so much room to run, whereas a lot of these the ERC20 smart contract, DeFi related Ethereum projects, they're up hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of percent. So that makes for an interesting point with regard to portfolio balance and value allocation and position sizing as the DeFi run continues and you start to trim profits. And where do you move value to? Clearly, you want to move value to Bitcoin and Ethereum, as I always say. Uh, Portfolio balance is extremely important to consider, but these types of projects are have yet to move, and I think that's the most important thing. So, what does StakeNet have that makes it unique? Let's take a look at the comments real quick. StakeNet's in the house. Yeah, thanks for having us. It is my pleasure. You guys have done incredible work. I myself am an Android engineer for 11 years, and this what has been built requires teams and dedication and experience. It's impressive, not even just to say the least. It is flat out really impressive the type of software that has been created. John Blaze in the house. So the two interesting characteristics off the bat are Lightning Network and Rated Network. So Bitcoin is obviously slow as crap, and Ethereum has its layer one issues, which is where second layer solutions come in for ETH 1.0 and clearly ETH 2.0. But ETH 2.0 is extremely sophisticated, and who knows how things are going to play out over the next pretty much 2 years as all the signs hint for the full rollout of the proposed Ethereum 2.0 platform. So the second layer solutions, frankly, are good no matter what. And you have Raiden Network for Ethereum, you have ZK Rollup, there's a couple of other rollup type concepts, but these provide the speed, they avoid the gas, and they still utilize Ethereum as the source of truth, and that's what's most pertinent. And that's the same thing with the Lightning Network. You get the speed, but you still retain the source of truth. Check the comments real quick. Need more, says Titan. Mustafa says XSN will make a revolution, my man. Listen, it's all part of the big picture, which is what I talk about all the time on my channel. You want to understand the macro perspective to see how these puzzle pieces fit together, form a narrative and a thesis, and that is how you do the portfolio balance. What components are synergistic? What projects help one another? How do they fit together? Into a very fancy looking puzzle that it really, in many regards, makes the legacy system look pathetic. All right, so we talked about Lightning Network, Rating Network, so that makes basically uh, 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 the Light Multi Wallet and the DEX fast for StakeNet. Uh, and you need that. If you're trading, you need pretty much as instant as possible transactions. And the biggest shortcoming, well, I didn't show you Raiden, not that there's much to show. It's a technical second layer solution to the Ethereum. Uh, it's not slow. Ethereum is fast, has relatively fast block timing, but the problem is it's congested, which means you need high gas fees in order to get your transactions included in the most immediate next block. So the other issue that's with DEXs is bootstrapping. You and liquidity, lack of liquidity, and this is a big issue with Block DX Exchange, and frankly, a lot of the DEXs, even the DeFi Ethereum DEXs, and that's just real. So that's a bit of a chicken and the egg. So how do you get liquidity if you don't have users, but you need liquidity to attract the user base? So StakeNet has the Vortex, and this is a system that taps into liquidity available on centralized exchanges, accessible from a decentralized vantage point, the decentralized exchange. And this is huge. I think the combination of the speed that Lightning Network, Raiden, and the liquidity provided by Vortex, this could be a very enticing platform to draw people away from the centralized exchanges towards the decentralized type of experience. Um, I wanted to show two second is Diversify a second layer solution for DeFi on Ethereum? I don't know. I don't think they, but no doubt Loopring is. So this is basically where DEXs are heading. But and these are hot, relatively hot for the from the big picture perspective. Um, Clearly not as hot as centralized exchanges, but that's the point. These are picking up steam. They are growing, and the biggest limitation for the Ethereum DEXs is it's just Ethereum. How do you get UTXO into the mix? Because that's where all the equity is. That's where all the money is. It's 170 plus $1 billion in UTXO land, and that's where stuff like REN plays a meaningful component, and having a tokenized representation of UTXO assets brings that equity over to the Ethereum platform and allows it to participate literally in exchanges like this. But that's part of the picture because you really want the UTXO to UTXO interaction, and that's done with atomic swaps, and that's what a Lightning Network will be consumed for. You don't have to bring the equity over to Ethereum. You could also interact UTXO to UTXO chain. Um, so what's that means there's not just one way to do things. I need a combination of everything. And the more options and choices that are available, uh, the better the solutions that can be produced. And that's where we're at. This is very interesting what Loopring is doing. It is fast on Ethereum. So I love seeing updates. I love seeing what Blocknet, StakeNet, and Komodo are doing because they're still doing it. And it's not on the front page news like DeFi every 5 seconds. You got uh, uh, Kyber is on fire right now, and as a liquidity provider, it's absolutely crazy. But those are in the headlines. But that doesn't mean these projects that are not in the headlines aren't poised to be disruptive. And that is what I always say is one of the most important things when evaluating a portfolio position is does the technology work? Is it profitable? And what is the likelihood of it disrupting the target market? So this stuff clearly works. Atomic swaps works. I remember the first tweets about atomic swaps back in 2017. Technology, check. Is it profitable? Well, it's free as compared to the server requirements um, and infrastructure and DevOps associated with centralized infrastructure. This is decentralized infrastructure. Check. And three, what's the target market for disruption and how susceptible is it? The target market for disruption for centralized is centralized exchanges. Now, that's the whole original in, first most important promise of crypto technology is getting away from centralized entities and behaving in a decentralized fashion, peer-to-peer interactivity. And having been working with DeFi myself for the last several months, I have absolutely no interest to go through a deposit process, a trading process, and a withdrawal process. What do I want to do? I have a damn asset. I want another asset and I want to trade it. So you go to like 1inch Exchange, Uniswap, KyberSwap. That's the type of interface I want. And that's really where I see the vast majority of the market heading, which I've talked about in my previous BlockNet videos. And this is where like JellySwap comes in, which is my last tab up there. So obviously a DEX, the traditional notion of an exchange is meaningful. People do trade. There's a lot of traders. They like their limits and stop losses and take profit zones and all their fancy tools and utilities. Um, but I'm at the point where I personally don't really care much. I use 1inch exchange for my trades. I'm following the charts on TradingView, and I use 1inch exchange for my trades. You know, I don't mind a 0.5% slippage. Just I get my position, I do my technical analysis, and that's how I do my plays. So I say this because I think the vast majority of users have absolutely no interest, and it's actually dangerous to present them with a trading environment. It's not. It's too sophisticated. It requires skill set. And you know what? That'd be an interesting metric to know how many traders actually just do market trades at market price because they just want to get from one asset to another. And that's basically what the liquidity providers are doing. They're finding the best possible price, minimizing the slippage to swap from one asset to another. And that's basically a market price. So that's just what I see, and that's what I think the market craves. There is a future for the decentralized exchange user interfaces, but I think that the fire, the pure fire that will transform a good portion of this entire crypto ecosystem is swaps, swap exchanges. I have an asset. I want another asset. Boom, software, just make it happen. And from my wallet to my wallet. Get rid of those damn deposits and withdrawals. It drives me nuts. And that's the promise of the DEX concept. Let's take a look at the comments real quick. Yeah, DeFi will run well on StakeNet. Oh, yeah. It's years in development. Look at Ren. It took years for them to develop and release their main net. Obviously, we're at sub-zero. But the point is, um, this is complicated software. I myself am an Android dev for 11 years. It takes months and months and months of large teams of dedicated time and effort to produce a stable, uh, functional product that has effective testing, unit testing, all the fancy stuff. Um, StakeNet says, yeah. Did you get a chance to join a public beta session over the weekend? Get a feel for a light wallet? I have not. I am swamped. Two jobs and two kids and and my brain is overwhelmed. But I would love to, and I will. I'll ping. I'll send the direct message on Twitter. Thank you. I appreciate that. I would love to take a look, and I'll report back to my stream. Guys, it's not like I'm going to say anything that's even remotely negative. I'm going to love every inch of it. I think StakeNet, I think BlockNet, I think Komodo are poised to disrupt the decentralized. Well, there is no decentralized exchange system yet for UTXO land as compared to the hotness that's going on with DeFi on the Ethereum space. So there's only three players in town, and the three players have built this stuff for the last 3 years. When this stuff lights on fire, it's going to be an inferno of liquidity and trading and activity. And dare somehow there be incentives in place, like the governance tokens of Comp Bal Curve. It's going to be, it's even more than what Ethereum is right now because there's so much equity available, so many billions of dollars. It's an order of magnitude larger than the activity that's going on in the Ethereum DeFi space. So yes, I love it. Thank you, StickNet. Craig says, make sure you do Noah solid and hit up the like button. Hit up the likes. Don't forget to subscribe. Even if you watch it every day, that subscribe button makes a big difference. I'd appreciate it. I'm gonna love every inch of it. Yes, that's Titan. That's what she said. uh, politically correct PC. But yes, real money, XSN, real money. Listen, you guys know what I think about crypto assets. I have absolutely no trust and no faith in equities. You can find a couple of winners here and there, but the fundamental analysis that's possible with crypto assets is actually real. Whereas when you apply fundamental analysis to equities and you're looking over the financials, the P&E, it's completely departed from anything rational. And what I like to say is from the crypto space perspective, I apply fundamental analysis looking at the technology, the functionality, the potential to disrupt a particular market, um, and that's everything. Protocol properties, inflationary, deflationary, emission rates. Well, Bitcoin is a decaying inflationary asset. Kyber right now is frankly a seriously deflationary asset. And these are the types of fundamental properties and characteristics that play a massive part in the path that an asset takes with regard to its appreciation or depreciation. Clearly, a highly inflationary asset, 100%. Some of those masternodes back in 2017 were running at 5, 6, 1,000, 5,000. You know where they're going to go. Straight Zimbabwe. So, 10, 15, 20, maybe even 30%, all relatively uh, moderately acceptable numbers. I mean, look at synthetics, like clearly digressing, but they have a very relatively large inflation rate. But their incentive to lock synthetics to mint SUSD is taking those assets off the market. So considering their inflationary emissions, they're actually a very deflationary asset because of the incentivized SUSD mint mechanic. Absolutely fascinating. One of my favorite projects. Would love to hear your thoughts on how XSN token is integrated into the platform. I'm sure we're going to hear more about that. Where's the slide? So they got three stages going on. Uh, yeah, I would need more information. I don't have that off the top of my head. What I'm a masternode runner for the years at this point. I love these guys. Um, and that's what I had up here, the cloud. So this is something else that StakeNet has that offers compared to the other products. This their cloud portal, which is very awesome. Um, it has a capacity to host your masternodes, which is definitely an awesome feature. Now, bear in mind, my masternode is down because my what's it called? My power line Ethernet adapter blew. So I got no damn. 24 hours, Amazon will ship it out, and this bad boy will be green again. But I've had this on for years. I wish there was a time clock. Anyway, it's been years at this point. What a wonderful offering, what they're working towards, and it's just going to keep going. I don't. The potential for frankly all three, BlockNet, StakeNet, and Komodo, absolutely game changers. Um, Looking at the comments real quick. Uh, at the end of the stream, I want a price prediction. I don't, my friend, I don't do price predictions, but I listen. What's going? My macro perspective right now is that there's $6 trillion in liquidity that's been thrown into the system. It's all funny money, and everything, all equities and crypto is going to inflate. So what I highly recommend is expect substantial appreciation everywhere. And don't forget to take profits and diversify, which means move your gains into Bitcoin, Ethereum, stable coins, and most definitely, if you got serious gains, you better get it out and put it into gold and silver. Uh, Dollars, that shit is garbage. Uh, I'd rather have stable coins than dollars nowadays. John Blaze with Lightning Network and Raiden integration exercise going to $10 easy. Ooh, I like those numbers. I mean, look what I got. How many do I have? I've generated 3,321. I don't see if my balance, but I really like this interface. Thank you, StakeNet, for what you've done. You've done a lot of good work. Was it stage three, Hydra? They'll get to how existing masternode operators, yeah, all current XSN masternodes will be upgraded to XSN Hydra nodes during stage three. That just sounds fancy. I'm gonna be a Hydra node. I love it. Uh, someone got $20 predation. It's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot of appreciation. If you were around in 2017, I was definitely around in 2017. What's the difference between now and 2017? The same with regard to what's going to happen, because it's going to straight FOMO, and that's what's going to happen with the entire crypto space. The difference is there's 6 trillion in liquidity just been dumped on the market, and the prevailing sentiment, what the stock market created, is that stocks just go up. So that's basically what these kids are going to take to the crypto space, that they just go up. So they're going to buy, it's going to go up. They're going to buy more. It's just, this is going to be an absolute rush that's going to make 2017 look small. So, but I think it's going to be an alts first. And then the big boys, the people that have been through this, are going to take their profits and move it into obviously Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then those boys are going to run more in line with stock to flow and the longer term, uh, bigger macro models. So ending the stream, I've gotten. Did I have a blocknet? Yeah. So blocknet's got the light multi-wallet coming. They got some nice questions that they're looking for, naming, but the big thing with BlockNet is they're doing their SPV network, and obviously they also provide their Oracle layer on top of the BlockNet, the network of service nodes. So it's a very different wiring of the system, and that doesn't make it better or worse. It makes it incredibly unique, and these unique properties are wonderful. Three profound projects that that are entrenched in development for years, and they're going to change the way trading is done in UTXO land, taking into consideration what has happened with the DeFi run. It happened in DeFi. It happened on Ethereum. This will happen in UTXO because it is so cool to not have to do KYC and not have to deposit and withdraw. Yes. I actually don't deposit anything in the centralized exchanges. It drives me nuts. Please tell me when it will be launched, DEX. Yeah, this stuff is soon. Don't I don't think in time frames. I think in terms of inevitabilities, and that's what lets me sleep at night. This stuff is inevitable. The softwares have been in development for years. It's going to be released. It's going to gain traction. The traction, adoption, and consumption is going to encourage more development, and it's a cyclical process as the fever occurs with the excitement for these platforms, it's just going to encourage more development, more use, more development, more use. And there's 170 plus $1 billion of equity ready to flow into these systems that are going to be annoyed by centralized exchanges. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the first time you get an electric car and you never have to go to a gas station again. If you've been driving an electric car for the years, I've been driving one for 6 years. Going to a gas station, if you ever rent a car, is the most annoying process ever. Sure, yeah, first world problem. It's a common phrase, but it's just annoying because it's dirty, it's gross, it smells, it's just really annoying. And that is exactly the sentiment that I have when I think about centralized exchanges after using a Uniswap, KyberSwap, 1-inch exchange, the new Maca from 0x. I have no interest from asset to asset, from my wallet to my wallet. Goodbye, centralized exchanges. It is an inevitability. I don't care what the time frame is. Komodo, their Atomic DEX is only in Android and iOS. In many regards, it's probably if they did it in Flutter I wouldn't do it in React Native. You could do it in React Native too. You'd be cross-platform. Um, but whatever, when they started Atomic DEX, those platforms were not as robust as they are today. Nowadays, you start a project in React Native or Flutter, you're it's just going to work everywhere. There's solid projects that are extensively robust. In fact, being an Android dev for 11 years, I wouldn't even start an Android project. I'd start it in Flutter, so it works on every damn platform. And Dart language is wonderful. Wonderful syntax. It's a really nice hybrid between Kotlin and Java in many regards. So this is the future. And I don't mean to keep you for last, Jelly. I know you put it in the effort, guys, but they do atomic swaps as well. Not that atomic swap is overwhelmingly complicated. Clearly, it was done years ago, so there's a lot of information out there. But these boys have picked it up and have done a D app with it. This is awesome. Look, you connect your Ethereum, you connect your Bitcoin all through Ledger. Clearly, you can't connect Ledger to both Ethereum and Bitcoin at the same time, so you're connecting your Ledger directly to Bitcoin, and you could go through MetaMask for Ethereum. I wonder how that would work if you have your Ledger set up in MetaMask and that's the configured wallet for MetaMask. If they both work. I don't know. But point being, that's what Jelly's doing. Jelly wants to get the DeFi fever for atomic swaps. So they offer atomic swaps. Um, oh, it's nice to see BTC plus plus up in there. Ooh, and look at that WBTC. Ooh, Ren is gonna. That's gonna be some serious stuff. That's gonna be all-time highs. Ren is a beauty. But look at where this is. The point is clearly this isn't massively consumed yet, but these are all foreshadows. Frankly, the entire DeFi mania is a foreshadow. And between Jelly and this type of user interface, a swap from asset to asset, and the DEXs that well, frankly, the Atomic DEX from Komodo, more of a swap process, as you see here in their wallets. There's from asset to asset, which is actually more in line with what Jelly does, and that's what my interest is. I'm rambling. I'm going to wrap this up in a second. In conclusion, I see tremendous potential to disrupt centralized exchanges. The DEXs need to come out. They need to be robust, and they're going to be. They've been in development for years. They're going to knock socks off. We also need the swap component. There's a reason why DeFi has been hot because it's from asset to asset from my wallet to my wallet. Just a swap. This is what 95% of anyone involved in crypto gives a crap about. Minimize slippage, the best trade possible, and it's quick. So Raiden Network and Lightning Network, liquidity from centralized exchanges. Just get rid of the order book, and you got a little beauty like this, and you're gonna have fire. You're gonna have DeFi fire and UTXO land, ladies and gentlemen. Interested in your opinion, Vitalik has been asking for smart contracts on BTC. He can't do smart contracts on BTC. It's a scripting language. It's scripting, so it's not Turing complete. Um, period. Yeah, I don't need to. That's simple as that. It's scripting. It's not Turing complete. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, 12:31. Another wonderful day. A wonderful topic that I've discussed a couple of times. I love it. You ask me on Twitter, I will rehash this topic. This is gonna make waves in the markets. It is an inevitability. No time frames. Thank you for joining. Smack those likes. Subscribe. Send me questions on Twitter. I will see you tomorrow. Peace.